All right. Wow, everybody. We are here together on the Comics Misexplained channel. Thank you, Jason, for hosting us for this new comic book movie TV experiment, man.
Dude, yeah, thank you for like coming up with the idea to even do this. I was haven't made like any comic book content on this channel in a long time. So I'm glad that you guys are like my meme homies. I got like comic book homies, meme homies, and sometimes those worlds cross, and it's awesome. So yeah, thank you guys all for wanting to do this, and great idea, Neil, for putting this all together, and thank you for all your guys' like effort and stuff for doing everything. This is awesome.
Hell yeah, maybe we should just do a little round the carousel here and introduce ourselves. Of course, everybody knows Jason, but we also have the homies Jawn Camunez up there in the top right corner. John, what's up, man?
Heyo, what's up? How's everyone doing?
Very good. And we also
You
have the homie
know.
down here, Lucas Anderson, on the bottom left corner.
Yo, what up? Glad to be here.
We love to have you. And you know what? I'm realizing we got some EKG action we need to bring into. Let's get this like right here. Like, oh yeah, see, I can see your heartbeat now, right? So don't mess around. If you have any hot takes that are not acceptable to Amanda Waller, we could possibly like watch this right here. Oh damn, you just got blasted right.
Damn, ow, I feel it.
and
Like
I'm
before
Phil
we had
Buck.
those like
Say
yeah, sorry,
again.
good. I was gonna say like I like how before when we were like practicing the OBS screen we had like the numbers going on. It was cool because I had like my own little Lotto numbers going constantly in the corner.
Exactly. Oh yeah, you know what? We're missing those too. Everybody, just stay with us. We had to switch gears. Where are all of our effects here? Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
All right, now we're in full
Oh
effect.
hell yeah!
Thank you for catching
there we
me.
go.
I like
Yeah,
it. There you
save
go.
those. Those are our
Awesome.
Mega Millions numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, my name is Phil Buck. For anybody that hasn't seen all of us here today, we're glad to be here together as the Comics Misexplained show. And we had planned, I think our first show we were planning to do together was going to be Spider-Man trailer, but we're still waiting on that.
Yeah. Question mark. Dot dot dot. Isn't that crazy?
Coming out tomorrow. It's gonna come out tomorrow. I heard.
Now that we've done this, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out John. He's rooting for it every day. I mean, we were waiting on it last week. I think we were waiting on the week before too. You had said that like it might be happening.
I think it's gonna come out at 12:03.
Tonight?
Like tonight. Yeah,
Okay.
tonight. So just be prepared for that. I don't know. That's just kind of the rumor right now. It should
Okay.
come out
Like,
any minute now.
Okay.
so, we're talking like Eastern time, Pacific.
Central time for me.
Central.
Okay.
Shit.
I
Well,
guess the point where like what's coming out first, the Spider-Man trailer or like the What If show. It's like, oh shit, well now we gotta like make two different shows, like prep for those.
yeah, and we're
Right,
still we're
right.
still
Yeah.
waiting on What If. It hasn't come out yet. So
That is
And then we're
tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh wait, Suicide Squad just came out. Shit, we gotta do that now. So
Yeah.
this is a good problem.
Yeah.
it is a good problem.
Could definitely be worse.
Yeah. What if is definitely tomorrow? So are we gonna do a show Thursday?
Sure.
I guess.
What if we did?
What if we
Unless-
did a show on Thursday? That's a great question.
What if
Let's
we did?
check in with each other tomorrow and see if.
Yeah, we might get 8 viewers.
Well, hey, so far we've been up to 6, 7 viewers. Thank you all for tuning in. We are here to actually
yeah.
discuss the Suicide Squad, not Suicide Squad. You add that the, and that's a big difference, right?
Yeah, all right.
Game changer, right? Okay, so the Suicide
Yeah.
Squad movie was only 3 years ago, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
And they decided to reboot it with James Gunn. James Gunn, all over the map as a director, but he brought his kooky trauma sensibilities to this movie. Do you guys think? I feel like I shouldn't even ask this question, but do you feel like this was an upgrade from the last movie?
Oh, no doubt, man.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a whole
Yeah.
180. I was not a fan of the first one when it came out. I think a lot of people were disappointed. We had a lot of high expectations. I think most people did. I did. and then it was what it was. And this one, I think we've all been hurt by DC a lot over the years, and we're like, maybe we should not have any expectations. And this kind of, for me, it blew it out of the water. So you
Yeah,
have low expectations.
absolutely. I had zero expectations. It was so painful for me to get through the last Suicide Squad movie. It was very painful. Like the last 30 minutes, I was like, why did I not turn this off? I'm so mad at myself right now.
It left me damaged.
I had to get a tattoo to write up here.
Yeah, so people would know.
Yeah. I mean, I keep telling people it's like the best DC movie since Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I'm also coming at this as I'm not a DC fan. I'm almost an anti-DC person.
Ooh.
I'm not the biggest fan. I don't really read the comics, and the movies are like, I mean, this was the best one yet. This was definitely the best one yet. It was very entertaining.
And number 3, Batman Forever.
Batman
Absolutely.
Forever, yeah.
I mean, the nipple suit.
Right. I think DC is just they're rushing things. They're trying too hard to catch up to Marvel, to the MCU, and it's just like stop rebooting, stop rewriting, and just kind of focus on something. Give us a single Batman, give us a single Suicide Squad.
Well, do you feel like one of the strengths of this movie was just that they let a singular director, have their own vision without having to be pressured to do a shared universe thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you really can't
helps,
say enough about James Gunn and how he really has taken the Suicide Squad, and it really has a lot of parallels, I think, to Guardians of the Galaxy, because I mean, great film, Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one that came out, wasn't connected really to the MCU very much at all. And here it is, killer soundtrack, like building up all these characters, great teamwork, kind of like a formula that worked, and he's doing it over again. And it didn't need to be connected to the rest of the DCU as much. And it didn't need to be connected to that first Suicide Squad very much. And I think it worked out. So kudos to him, I think.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the soundtrack. Like, rewatching the first Suicide Squad movie, the soundtrack is ridiculously bad and like generic. I don't know, there's like a sunrise and they play like House of the Rising Sun. It's just like I don't know, man. It's just so typical. And if you watch it, if you rewatch it, it's just almost like cringe, man. It's just like song after song after song after song. This one, it's like pretty well paced out. I think they did a better song selection. The other one was made by like an algorithm or something. It was just, didn't work. And this one, it flowed really well, just like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Totally agree with that. And I feel like it had a certain tone that I won't go listen to the soundtrack, but it carried through for me, that, and even lyrics in certain scenes, were specifically chosen to narrate the scene. It was, it was enjoyable in that regard for me.
Absolutely. I think it was kind of neat how Guardians of the Galaxy, they made like a record store day cassette. And of course that sold out everywhere. And that was just a kind of a nice little, aesthetic kind of, physical object that looked just like the tape in, the movie. That's pretty neat. And I think they made a second one too, but that's kind of like a fun thing. I like little things like that ties to the movie like that.
Oh, of course. I mean, I'm sure they're going to have okay, I don't even know where I was going with this, but for some reason it just made me think about a thought I had about Suicide Squad, which to me, this movie felt like a war movie. And the soundtrack, maybe that's what triggered it for me, is it felt like, I almost had memories of Forrest Gump or any of those like period piece 70s movies that came out in the 70s or were based around the 70s. I feel like they were just channeling this idea that these are not necessarily superheroes. These are soldiers, they're in servitude to somebody, which is another thing I loved about this movie, is that these people were working for, so if we haven't said already, spoiler alert, but yeah, they were working they were working, as employees, not even employees, they were working as slaves basically to a corrupt government.
Slaves. I was going to say, yeah, slaves for sure. And I mean, how do they even know that they're going to get their freedom after doing all these missions? I mean, the beginning of the movie, is showing one team that was specifically used to die as a distraction, you know? And they were told it was, hey, do this mission and you get 20 years off your sentence.
Yeah.
So
it's really funny. I think they chose that team to be the distraction because of maybe them screwing over Amanda Waller from the last movie. You know, they're like, you know
Oh,
what? Screw these guys.
that's a very good
You
point.
know,
There was a lot of overlap there. There was a lot of new characters too. I love how many high level people they put on that team, and like Pete Davidson was pretty random, but then like of course you have James Gunn's like go to what's his name, the dude that's been in like Walking Dead, Guardians of the everything,
his
Savant.
brother.
No, the guy with the ball. I think his name was Savant. Like,
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
and I just love like I love the feeling that James Gunn creates on his movies. It's like so many of the actors and actresses are from other things that he's done. Like he doesn't he it's like a family that he brings along, you know. It's like when you see the dude with the bouncing ball at the beginning, you're like, of course. And
he's
then
like
you see
the Adam Sandler of the comic world.
I guess so, man.
Or Sylvester Stallone, you know, voicing King
Yeah.
Shark, also being in Guardians too.
Good
That's right.
point. Wow.
Right.
I thoroughly enjoyed seeing Pete Davidson get shot in the face. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that guy, so that was very rewarding.
That was
I-
pretty cool. Yeah,
I do
that was
get
pretty
you,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought like I wasn't expecting. I don't remember how violent the other Suicide Squad was.
it
And
wasn't
so
this violent.
the violence. Okay, yeah. So the violence in this one just kind of threw me off. I was like, oh, okay, they're really going for it, and we got to sit through it. Like I wasn't expecting it, especially for it to be. It was like announced that it was actually canon, so I wasn't thinking it was going to be that violent. So that was pretty wild.
Yeah, it definitely earned that hard R rating, not with just the violence, but as you brought out earlier, Phil, the nudity, the frontal.
Thank you. Yeah, this was a
God.
hard R movie. It earned it. I want to send a shout out to the chat. John's Comics with Kids. Michael Rooker, thank you. That's who I was trying to name. But yeah, I mean,
There we go.
they definitely didn't shy away from it. I do feel like the violence was like a, very deliberate decision. I feel like it definitely delivered on. If you want to watch a James Gunn movie, it has the tone that you may have known him for in the past. But then, yeah, there was like dicks out in this movie. Like,
It dicks
John
out for
Cena
Starro.
hang dong.
there was John Cena. Like, I can't see him, but I did see his impression in his whitey tidies. That was like, I hope he got paid well for that scene. That was full on.
I'm just wondering if we're going to see, even more in his HBO Max spinoff.
Right.
Is he dropping trout?
Yeah, is it going to be
Well-
animated or is that live action?
That's live action. That's going to be live action. And I'm curious how that shows in the Go because he kind of sucks. Like as a character, he's a real asshole.
Right. Is it going to be like a prequel
So-
to see how he got there, or is it a sequel? To see what's going
That's
to
what
happen?
I'm thinking. I would
Yeah.
hope it's a prequel just so we can see him and like tolerate him.
Yeah,
It
maybe we'll
has
get a little
to
bit
feel
of
like you
both.
get this.
I think we'll get a little
Maybe.
bit of both, like some background to,
I-
give his, actions, some justification maybe, and then,
Yeah.
continue on with the storyline. We'll probably get a good mix of both, I think, hopefully.
And,
I
and
would
if
hope
Game of
so,
Thrones is
yeah.
an indicator, we will see Dick.
Yeah, I personally feel like it has
please.
to be a prequel, and I also feel like I honestly think they did a really good job writing him as I like even at the end of the movie, I didn't feel like he was a villain. I felt like he was just somebody you related to his, motivations the whole movie. Even if you saw how bad they were at a certain point, you're like, oh wow, this guy sucks. You never saw him as a villain until he was like, he was doing terrible actions. You know what I'm saying? Like you saw it from early on, but like. I don't know. I think they did a good job of allowing him to have terrible motivations to do terrible things. So I hope that will come through with earlier versions of Peacemaker. Like it was more true earlier in his life than it is now. People give away little bits of themselves all the time until they become terrible. That's what I saw in that character in this movie.
Well, I think you bringing up war movies earlier too. I mean, there's the whole thing with war about just following orders, right? And that's, that's kind of Peacemaker's whole deal. The only thing we were really missing for a war movie is, there was no Fortunate Son playing, no CCR, right? But otherwise, I think that's that was kind of his MO, and it to me was a little reminiscent of like the clones and the Clone Wars, or not Attack of the Clones, but Revenge of the Sith. He's just following orders, except he doesn't have a chip
Yeah,
in his head.
right. Yeah, he was very. It just seemed like he represents like American military. Like, we're here for peace, and we'll kill anybody we can to achieve it.
Yeah, he's like nothing like a
which
good
is kinda like this-
bloodbath first thing in the morning for peace, though, right?
Exactly, and it's a big oxymoron. It's I like how within 30 minutes of the movie, the little peace symbol had bloodstains on it, and it was just kind of like, okay, so this is who he is,
When they announced him for the role as Peacemaker, I was like, damn it! Like I really wanted him to be in Marvel as a Nuke. Nuke is like, if you're not familiar with him, he's like a part of the Weapon X program. But he's like a kind of like same kind of role where he's just a pro-military, brainwashed guy, but he has like the American flag face painted on his face, and he's just like a beast of a soldier. I think he's would have looked perfect as Nuke, but yeah, he makes a great Peacemaker. So glad to see it.
Well, I love this movie because I feel like it's very different in that Marvel doesn't do this, right? Marvel doesn't let you be like, the government is actually bad. I mean, they play with it with like, okay, Cap's underground or that kind of thing. But like this movie was like, no, the government actually was the shitty for a long time in this situation. The U.S. government was a fucker in this, and I thought that was dope that they let them do that of all things.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't quite understand how they were burying the lead because I thought they knew from the get-go that like America was behind it all. Then at the end they're like, America's behind it all. What? But I guess it was the record. I don't know, man. It was one of those things where like that's not a big shock, And for me, like I guess I might be skipping ahead here, but I thought it was like a plot hole in itself of where when they caught Starro and you see the astronauts with like the Starros on his face, like. Well, what happens? I mean, like Starro, he could have let himself out back into space. He controlled the astronauts. He didn't, though. They came and landed, and then like how they subdued all the Starro astronauts and Starro himself. Like once it landed, like wouldn't there be a bunch of Starros everywhere and get overtaken? But I mean, I don't know. You need the movie to progress in a certain way, but it's like for me, it didn't make sense. There's a lot of things that that could have happened for if Starro really wanted to be free. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that, and I also appreciate the fact that they were able to tap so many characters like Starro, Polka Dot Man, Weasel. I mean, there's like a lot of randomness going on in this movie, and I feel like it's a really rare position to be in as a director who knows about weird comic book stuff. To make those connections, which James Gunn has done a couple times now for Marvel and then DC. And I mean, spoiler alert, Weasel survived, right? He woke up in the post-credit scene, and man, like I just felt like, okay, there's a big, huge elephant in the room that we haven't been discussing, which is King Shark. I mean, come on, y'all, like. Huge. I mean, James Gunn, it's like a Groot mixed with Rocket Raccoon mixed with, I mean, he loves to play those characters that are outside of the human experience, but they express everything in the human experience with just a few words, right? Like new dumb friends, right? Like
yeah, for sure. He was definitely like a kind of like a Groot character. I'd say like mixed with Hulk. He was pretty just durable. He fell so far out of a building. He got shot a bunch of times, and the bullets just bounce off. And he just seemed pretty indestructible, which is amazing. I love to see it, and I just wanted the best for that character. I wanted him to have friends, and he was always like, it was so sad to see him all the time. He's just lonely. He's sitting in the van by himself, while everyone's like in the club and stuff, and he just wanted to have other dumb friends, and it was just I wanted the best for him.
I love that point that you made, though, because I did feel things for a lot of these characters, and it's weird to feel things for a humanized shark.
Right.
Personally, I didn't expect that going into this movie. And I've seen.
Yeah, I was worried.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was worried that he was gonna, die at some point because obviously they were very gratuitous with the amount of people they killed off in the film. So I mean, there were two moments specifically, when he meets his new dumb friends, and then they start tearing into him with their jaws, and then when he falls, several stories and is just getting shot on the ground. It's like, well, that would kill any other member of the team over and over and over again. So yeah, I did feel a little something. I was like, oh no, is this it for King Shark? Whereas like when everybody dies at the beginning, it's kind of more like it's pretty funny. Pete Davidson just gets shot in the head, and you're like, okay, that's cool. Nathan Fillion removes his arms and then just dies in multiple pieces. Like it's all good.
Yeah.
Well, can we talk about how that first team was clearly stacked with high level, people that I guess James Gunn was like, "Hey, would you do this project if I kill you in the first, scene? Would you do it? Would you do it then?" Can you imagine the contract negotiations? Like, I know you don't want to do this movie, but what if you just did the first scene and I kill you? Oh, okay. Yes. It sounds like a good deal.
Sure.
It'd be amazing.
I
I
mean,
feel like that's like every actor's like favorite role to play. You get a paycheck, you work like one day, and you get to play a cool, fun role, or die in a cool way. It's awesome. Like it's a win-win-win.
exactly.
I don't know, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Who needs lines, Just kind of go out there and die, honestly, and just kind of that's it. That's really all you get. And it's nice. It's funny to see. Like you think they're going to be important characters, but just they're going to die at some point. And I think it was funny how like that whole first 10, 15 minutes was dedicated to them, and then all of a sudden it cuts to Team B, and it's just like, oh, okay, so this is what we were, and how all of the people on the other side were betting on who was going to die first.
Oh
Yeah,
God, yes.
Deadpool. Yeah.
The Deadpool, yes.
Well, that scene
So
was.
good.
I mean, I feel like that scene was extremely well played, heavily loaded, got your expectations going, and then pulled the rug out from under you. And I think that's what this movie needed because there was so many expectations it would be so bad. And I just want it just leads me to the whole story of Harley Quinn. Like when I'll just tell this to you guys, and you can respond to what I'm saying, which is just when I saw Harley Quinn. She got captured. She got taken to the dictator, palace, and she's supposed to marry him. I thought that was all like a pipe dream or something the whole time until a certain point that the action slowed down. I was like, okay, this is really happening, and I was just like, this is fucking hilarious. And I feel like it continued the tone from the first half, which was to say that like, don't have expectations. This is gonna be. I'm gonna do this to you on purpose. You think you know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna let you feel a way, and then I'm gonna change that on you. How did y'all feel about that whole Harley Quinn opening storyline?
Man, I guess that part where she's with the president part, like all that, it was beautifully shot. I guess they use these things called red cameras, RED. It's like a new technology, a new camera, whatever, and it's like really portable. It's super high def, and you can do a lot of things and squeeze between people and things like that instead of carrying around a huge clunky machines, And I thought it was great looking. It was beautiful, and they try to use as many practical effects as they could. Of course, there's a lot of computer imagery in this movie, but that scene where all the flower petals and stuff are going behind her when she's going on a murder spree down the hallway and stuff. I think you can tell they got like a fan and just like blew a bunch of like flowers and stuff. Plus, they could have done that digitally as well too, I'm sure. But it all looked great. I love that whole entire sequence, and when she's in the bird cage with the guy and there's birds flying everywhere. This is beautiful looking. I mean, it's a good looking movie, and they spent a lot of money on this movie. I think that's probably why it's one of the best DC movies ever made.
Fair.
Not the best one.
Oh, interesting. We should revisit that point. John, what did you think about the whole Harley Quinn sequence up until she rejoined the team?
I thought it was really cool. I mean, I was curious how they were going to handle her in the movie because I was thinking maybe she was going to kind of be a lead, but she really wasn't. I mean, that was kind of the most screen time she was given was that whole scene, and it wasn't really her fighting. It was just kind of like this whole like montage type of thing. And it was really cool. It was cool to see. it's cool to see that she is still dealing with her like trauma from Joker, and so like that's kind of that's why she killed the guy, and because Joker really fucked her up, I guess, and so she's still kind of going through that, and she still seems to just I don't know. It was interesting. I'm curious if they're gonna make another movie with her. Um, but other than that, I mean, they were pretty good scenes. I like how I don't know if that's how she sees the.
John, did you? I think
Did we lose Jawn?
Amanda Waller just here. Let's load up the.
Hit the button.
World.
Oh shit! I think Amanda
Oh
Waller.
man.
Is he back?
Well,
He's back. What's up?
I'm
We worried that Amanda Waller just took you out because you were trying to abort the mission or something. You're trying to run away. I have some responses to that.
lost it.
I do feel like I do appreciate that they illuminated her trauma a bit, and I also don't. I feel like she got some really badass fight scenes getting out of that presidential palace. Like, she fucking wrecked shit like many times, and I thought it was pretty cool. Slightly unbelievable a lot of the time. I was like, what? But dope.
Yeah. I was gonna actually. I just remembered what I was gonna say. I'm not sure if she has any powers. Is Harley Quinn a mutant or some sort of enhanced human? Or is she just Harley Quinn? I wasn't sure. I don't know of her comics canon, and I'm not sure in the movies if she has some sort of just like invulnerability or something.
No, she's pretty like a regular person. She's supposed to be really intelligent because she used to be like a therapist, but also she's kind of newly written as like a Deadpool kind of character, so she can like break the fourth wall and stuff as well. So I'm not sure if they're going to follow that into the movies or what, but so far they haven't really done that, I don't think, but it's possible.
I think that would be very powerful for that character.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like they could make her, I don't know, she just seems very damage resistant, which is pretty wild, but I guess it is just it.
John, Amanda Waller keeps coming for you.
Again. Yeah. She doesn't like what he's saying about Harley Quinn.
Right.
It's like,
Big
don't give away
Marvel
spoilers for Suicide Squad 3.
We haven't let you talk a whole lot, Lucas.
Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, we can hear you now, Lucas. I mean, we need to tap you in. How did you feel about? I mean, we really should move forward into the movie, but seeing Harley Quinn, she had her spotlight. I think they specifically tried to give a moment to Harley Quinn, and it carried through in the film. But seeing that scene, did you think it was real when you watched it? Like, did you take it at face value?
Yeah, I mean, I took it at face value, not like as some kind of like dream sequence or anything like that. It felt a little off, but it was enjoyable. I think part of me was expecting that it would lead to Harley hangs around with the president, and then she meets up with her friends later, and then she helps. So I mean, when she just kills him almost immediately after their love scene or whatever. That was surprising, but I think very on brand. And then to go back to kind of what was mentioned earlier, like for sure she's very OP in this movie. As someone who's just a psychiatrist who was turned by the Joker, who otherwise has no skills or whatever. Suddenly she's a master at all of these weapons and can take on a whole army. Obviously, it's not realistic, but what part of this movie is?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I think what made that fun is she was a big part of the first Suicide Squad. She was definitely like the heart of the team. So it really helped tie that tight together with the first one. And Margot Robbie does such a good job with that character. So I mean, every time she's on screen, it's a really enjoyable experience.
Well, I think you made a great point, which is just that. Harley Quinn is OP. Her abilities are just that if you put a weapon in her hands, she can do, terrible things with it, which is exactly the skill set of Bloodsport and Peacemaker, which they made a ton of memes this week. So let's go ahead real quick. Let's just detour from our conversation about the plot of the movie and everything. Let's talk about memes this week, which is because this film was meme worthy, right? Like I've seen a ton of memes, especially the meme of Bloodsport and Peacemaker speaking to each other. This is not on that subject, but I have like hundreds of them ready for you guys. But yeah, this is I've tried to give credit to all the people that made these memes. This is from the group Oops All OC Memes. When I accept another Meme Lord's friend request, new dumb friends, right? We've already talked about. Makes King Shark very relatable for so many reasons. I love that guy. But yeah, this is Lucas's.
Cool.
This is perfect. If y'all don't know about post-ironic meme vault, go check out Guy Fieri's post-ironic meme vault. That smile, there it is. I mean, obviously.
How can you not love him?
Yeah. And then here is the new meme template of the week. If you don't post memes of this template this week, that'll probably be fine. It'll probably keep going for a couple more weeks, I would guess. But yeah, so he does exactly what I do, but better, which is just great because that's the same for Harley Quinn, right? I mean, am I wrong?
Yeah, that's accurate. That's great.
Yeah. So I've seen a lot of these. Obviously, here some people are trying to play the console wars. The console's the best, whatever. PC, I do it better. But let's keep it going. Here's Jay Leno. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? The Suicide Squad?
Oh my god!
But I definitely agree with this one.
I wish Jay Leno would have been all in denim there.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Yeah.
But I think I probably have 10 more of these. And I'm trying to give credit to everybody because these are not on pages. They're just in groups. Oops, all OC memes, Marvel, Sword Shield posting, whatever. But we got so many more. Oh, yeah, this was a great one. Every Halloween party this year, which, honestly, I just got to give a ton of credit to. It's something we haven't talked about at all. They, Polka Dot Man's mother was put into the film so many times, like digitally, green screen. That was so amazing, you guys. That was really
right.
That was some next level funny shit. Man. Yes,
the dance club scene is just everywhere, surrounded by his mom.
Yes, that was so good.
She was a highlight for sure.
And it was such a sneaker, like you wouldn't know anything about that from seeing any trailers, any advanced screening stuff. It's really well done.
His mom worked at Star Labs. I mean, the Flash is really closely related to Star Labs, so we'll see Star Labs and his mom in the Flash movie. Red circle it.
I love that. What is this? Oh, this is actually a meta meme format. So they're saying that the Mary Jane speaking to Spider-Man meme is not as good as the Zemo Falcon meme, which is extremely strong, I will admit.
Wow, that's levels to that one. Yeah, that's great.
Very, very meta. Oh, yes. Thank you, Jason, for this one. This is so good.
This is for all the other meme makers and people who follow memes. They know who Squirt Guy is, says the Suicide Squirt.
Yeah, this is the one we've been waiting on. I mean, I thought about making one, the Suicide Squats, where you're just like got a bunch of people doing squats. But this is, I won't down because this is much better than that.
100% enemy.
Again, yeah, like I said, this is the new template. If you get it in this week, maybe next week, but it's going to be dead soon. But it's very good for now, right? I mean, yes, let's take a moment to appreciate Milton.
R.I.P. Milton. Wait, who's Milton?
R.I.P. Milton. Damn.
We just had a whole conversation about Milton. Lucas, where were you?
Yeah. I love at the end how she calls Deadshot or Milton or not
Bloodsport.
Yeah, Milton. We just talked for 3 hours about how you're Milton.
I love how upset Polka Dot Man was about Milton because I was upset when I was watching this and he got shot. I was just like, no, Milton, and like no other part of the movie did I like say anything out loud, but they shot Milton. I was like, no, Milton! And then Polka Dot Man is immediately just like, they got Milton. It's like, yes, don't forget about him.
It's very. I think that. I mean, they did a great job of keeping Milton in the scene the whole time. and I think we only have a few more. Let's click through here. Oh, okay. Yes, we got a few more.
That's great.
I
Accurate.
like that a lot. Yeah,
I agree.
that's awesome.
Oh, here's another one. Okay, this one is very, liberal agenda forward, but I agree with it honestly.
Oh
I
yeah,
just feel-
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And let's see. Oh, here's another one. This is great. Shout out Josh
Garth
Boyd.
Brooks and Chris Gaines.
Chris Gaines.
Amazing.
I love Chris Gaines. Hell
Cool.
yeah.
I love Chris Gaines. I love. Okay, this is a good one. John Cena in Suicide Squad is every single U.S. president, which we've kind of touched on this already. I cherish peace with all my heart. I don't care how many men, women, or children I need to kill to get it.
Just don't give
Too real.
Peacemaker a drone.
Yeah, for real.
God.
That's what his helmet is, essentially, right? I mean,
The toilet bowl, toilet seat.
and that's our memes for this week, everyone. We're gonna
Full
keep.
circle.
Nice.
Yes, exactly. We'll keep refining next segment. I feel like maybe that's one that people will stick around for. It's a good one.
Absolutely.
Well, you guys, I think we've
yeah.
covered a lot of subjects for this movie. I mean, knowing how it ended with Starro being, the big bad, but really not that bad. He was just kind of like drawn into this against his will. How
Yeah.
how do you? Let's
Yeah.
just go around table. Let's start with John. You feel like you had something on the tip of your tongue. How did you feel about this movie as it wrapped up?
I was surprised how anti-American it seemed. Uh, like about halfway in, I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be anti-American or bragging about how like we can secretly topple governments and whatnot. I don't know. It was just very much so like extremely political. I mean, the whole thing was just all about invading South America, some South American country, which is like that is in America's DNA. So it was very interesting that that was kind of the main plot line of the movie. And like whenever Starro escaped and she said, just let it be, I think the US government will benefit from this basically from this country being destroyed by a monster. And it's like it was really interesting to see that from this film. I don't think we would ever see that kind of take from Marvel in any
Yeah.
type of way.
You're
Because
absolutely right.
it was very much so it was very anti-American and kind of like in this like very like braggadocious or like macho way of like, hey, look how easy it is for us to topple governments and to destroy like rebellions. Like how they destroyed that rebellion without even knowing it. They just killed everybody and not even knowing who they were. It was a very interesting movie. It was really interesting to see the politics of it.
I appreciate that. Lucas, let's go to you, man. Wrapping up this movie, Starro comes out, everything's happening. Well, how did you feel about this?
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously Starro had to go just like from a moral perspective of you can't have this giant kaiju taking over everyone's consciousness and expanding over the entire world. But kind of to echo what John said, I mean, it was definitely kind of not necessarily like anti-capitalist, anti-American propaganda, but at least it's showing kind of the dark side of history of how the United States has been involved in coups in Central South American countries and really like throughout the entire world. But I mean, it's also very telling that they sent these villains in to do this, and yet the villains are the one that are like, no, we have to have the moral, strength to do the right thing. Almost as if the people that are the enemies of the government, the enemies of the United States, are still better than the United States, even if they are morally and characteristically flawed. And that's something that you don't see in Marvel films, and part of it, I mean, you look at Age of Ultron, and there's the whole Sokovia issue, and Tony Stark has all these weapons and leads to this creation of Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch, and they still join the Avengers. You know, it's not like they're like, no, fuck that, we're gonna kill Tony Stark. And then to
Right.
bring it back further, like the military gave money to create the Iron Man movies.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
there's definitely this level of of critique and commentary that I don't think we would get from your average, at least A-list Marvel movie. Um, Maybe in television shows, for sure in the comics, but I don't think we're going to see any of this level in, fourth wave, whatever the next group of Avengers is.
Which feels like an outlier, right? I mean, it feels unique to this state of media. Jason, let's go to you, man. What would you say about this movie as a closing type summary situation?
Yeah. Well, I guess to add on to the tail of that, I always enjoyed Captain America's character just because he, even in the comics, he always is at odds with the government because he does like the morally right thing to do, and America doesn't like that. Sometimes they hunt him down in the comics quite frequently. Right now, there's a really interesting thing going on with Captain America, like in the comics, where he's meeting just different representations of people who took on the name Captain America. So you have, there's like a native, Captain America. There's like a gay Captain America. There's all kinds of different people that are, representing their own or taking on that mantle themselves in their own small little neighborhoods or sections of the U.S. And that's pretty cool. I think it's a really neat thing to write about. It's interesting. I recommend that everyone pick those up and see what they're all about. But yeah, I guess to talk about the movie, I stick with my guns where I say like I think Starro could have escaped earlier if he wanted to. When he died, he was like, I was happy just staring at the stars. And it's like, yeah, but were you really? Because you could have escaped, and why'd you want to conquer this city? If you wanted to, I don't know, man. You just seemed a little too aggressive to go out saying it like that. But I did feel sympathy for him. That's kind of a bummer he died, and it was really gross but beautiful at the same time the way he went down. Yeah, I mean overall it's a great movie. I'm excited to see the Peacemaker show. I guess there's 8 episodes. 6 of them are being directed by James Gunn. So and I think it's written by him. So it should be interesting.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah.
When y'all were talking about that earlier, I thought you were joking or something when you said a spinoff. I didn't know that was a real thing.
No, it's real.
Okay, cool. Yeah, more that I can't see that hog, on the screen. I don't know.
Actually, John Cena is going to be in Tulsa, I think, this coming weekend.
Oh, really?
WWE Raw is like, I guess they tour, and so and this coming weekend, John Cena is going to be in town. I kind of want to go and see him. I don't know.
You
We'll
probably
see.
should.
Awesome.
Ask him about whether there's going to be full frontal nudity in the spin-off show.
Is John Cena going to hang dong? I'll go ahead and just ask him like that. Mr. Cena,
Yeah.
will you hang dong?
We need to know.
Can we see it?
Will he see the
Inquiring
Peacemaker?
minds. Amazing. Well, guys, I think this has been a great first episode. I mean, there's so much to touch on with this movie, and at the same time, it's not, it's not great kino, as they say. It's a great escape from life for a night or a weekend. I think that's what hopefully we can do here on this show is we've been able to touch a lot about the other side of the media, which is just that a lot of it can be propaganda and a lot of it can be real life, and there's a whole lot of gray area in between. And I like that I can talk to you guys about it and make some sense about it in our own lives. Like, what does this mean for us? Who cares what we think? Nobody. But we're homies and we like to talk about it, and it feels good to talk about it.
Absolutely. As
Agreed.
John said in the chat, you said, let's see if they bring in Jarro. And in the comics, Jarro is like a piece of Starro that broke off, and Batman kept in a jar, and it became a sentient by itself, and he kind of raised it to be like his own little kid or protege, and Jarro wanted to be like a Robin and called him Dad and stuff. I would love to see a little Jarro. That'd be quite fun, like a little baby
Absolutely.
Groot.
I think if James Gunn gets another movie, I mean, the fact that Starro exists at all, I see that as a high probability.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they weren't there something similar in the Snyder cut of the they showed the whatever the star it was like robotic starfish, but it was very similar to what Starro was doing.
Oh
I'm
wow.
pretty sure it was in the Justice League.
I'm gonna have to rewatch. I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, there was a robotic kind of mechanized version of
Yeah.
Starro instead. Yeah, I saw
Yeah, and
something
it
about
was
that.
just like
Remember
they were
that.
all face suckers. I don't know if that was in
Oh,
the official or the Snyder cut. I'm not sure which one it was in or if it was in both, but I remember seeing those.
You're absolutely right. I forgot about that.
damn! Wow,
Right.
I
amazing.
think it's pretty brutal how like whenever the Starro, little spawn things from his armpit like attached to people's faces, how like once they're attached, like you're dead. Like the people, all those people are dead. There's no coming back. And it showed
Yeah.
kind of what happens of in that science lab of them trying to remove a Starro from someone's face. It's just like ripped flesh. That's,
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
pretty gruesome. It's
yeah.
like so
That whole
once
lab was really dark.
it was.
Yeah, it was fucked up.
It was
And
kind of
then
cool seeing the Thinker too.
I was gonna say,
That
can
guy's
we
a good
just
actor.
for a second appreciate the fact that the Doctor Who actor, what's his name, came through
Yeah.
as the Thinker? Like that outfit the whole time I was just looking at it like, really?
This
Re-
is what y'all went with.
really? I mean, like I love it,
Yeah.
but I'm also just like, really?
Yeah, it's a big difference from the Doctor for sure. But he did a great job.
He killed it. I mean, you couldn't have asked most actors to pull that off. Like, well, you could ask them, but like, I think only an actor of high caliber could wear such a ridiculous set piece on their head and pull it off. I mean, this is a big deal, man.
Right.
I
I
You
mean,
guys
really,
I mean
enjoy.
that look is true to comics, right? Like, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
so it's he just went ahead and did it, and it's ridiculous. You think they could have just kind of rewrote it maybe instead of turn it into something else, but they really just went ahead and said, no, we're going to make it true to comics and make
Yeah,
your head look dumb as hell.
they really leaned into it. I just think it doesn't necessarily translate to reality when you have, beakers of fluid hanging from your head. But I loved how they even had flashback scenes where he only had, half as many things on his
Right.
head. But like in the
Yeah.
current day, he had, so many. It was just like, it reminded me of like your mom coming out with a perm on, but like some intellectual fluids
Uh,
going into his head. I don't know. It was,
somebody played by Big Perm Friday.
yes,
Did you
yes.
guys see this character in the prison earlier on? I thought that was pretty cool. I guess that character is called Kaleidoscope, and I guess the reason that I think it's pretty cool is that that character is a fan based, kind of character from I guess like in the 80s or 70s. Like it was a write-in competition, and they
Oh,
like
shit.
made thought it was a good
Awesome.
idea and made that character in a comic. So it's like one panel. That's really cool. They chose that some random character and from the comics like that was barely used at all and just put her in the
Right.
movie. And she looks great. I mean, hopefully she'll be in the next one if there's another one. I think that'd be cool. I guess what
Oh,
Calendar
yeah.
Man was in there as well. That's James
Yeah.
Gunn's little brother. Sean Gunn played Calendar Man. I think that was cool. That was a cool cameo.
Sean Gunn
Yeah, it was
always
pretty neat.
gets all the characters. Wasn't he? I feel like
Yeah.
he was Weasel as well.
Is Weasel, yeah, and
Yeah.
then that dude that was saying, "Oh, we're stuck with this douchebag" at the end. That he worked for Amanda Waller. Like he's the dude that played Weasel in the mocap suit. So it's kind of funny how
That's
two people played
right.
Weasel. That's pretty neat. I don't know about you guys. I was super bummed when Rick Flag died.
Yeah.
Like when
Yeah.
Boomerang died, it was like a shock, because I was like gonna say think either he was gonna die right away or he was gonna be, he's gonna make it because he's part of the original crew. I was kind of banking more on making it, so I was surprised when Boomerang died. But then Rick Flag especially, I was just like highly disappointed because I thought he was just really great in this movie. I really like that character. He's kind of like the backbone of the group. And him getting taken out, it's kind of a bummer. But I mean, this is DC, it's comics. I guess they could
They'll bring
say,
him
"Oh,
back.
yeah, they can be a clone." We got a clone here. Here's another
Yeah.
Yep.
one. You never
Yeah.
know,
There's the whole Flag family, maybe he had a
right?
son.
Yeah,
It's a good point, but I will say,
I felt the same way about Polka Dot Man too. I was just, he just died so abruptly, and I was just like, man,
Yeah, he's finally happy. Yeah.
yeah. He was the only one that cared about Milton, and then he
Yeah.
dies
For real.
too.
That dude's great, man. I like Malkian or whatever his name is, man. He's in so much stuff in the DC universe, and I
Yeah.
guess in general. And he's a comic book writer as well. He writes comics. Um, Sometimes I used to do stuff on the channel called the Comic Core, and there we had Mainframe Comic Con. It was like an online comic convention. He was on there like I think twice, different occasions, and he even hosts like a horror panel. And he's a really nice guy, and he's really into like horror and comics, man. He loves that stuff, and so it's really neat to see someone in that, and as an actor, in that love has the same interests, and he uses both those things greatly to his advantage. It's awesome. So yeah, huge polka dot fan over here.
yeah, I agree. I mean, the polka dot thread was very strong. One of the strongest in the episode for me personally, being able to see his mom being represented in different scenes, and then the high color contrast going on, like when he would have to vomit out them or when he would just destroy something with the polka dots was really, really dope.
Yeah, I was surprised how destructive and strong those things were. This like inflamed everything and just disintegrated it.
And I'll say I relate to him that as a person, I like the idea that someone is represented in media that has immense power, but also feels very repressed, like I thought that was intense to see that on media. I was just like, I've never seen that before.
Did you? I was laughing really hard when because I was thinking Polka Dot Man and how he disintegrated some of the militia, but they were good guys.
Yeah.
and when you saw Rick Flag hanging out, I was like, oh no.
Like, uh-oh.
No, that whole first
we
scene
didn't
was
see those guys.
extremely deeply cringe. Like I felt so much cringe. Knowing how well they did, you like the whole time you're identifying with them, like, yes, they killed everyone secretly very well. And then you get to this point that you're like, oh God.
You're like, no, we didn't see anybody.
Those are the other good guys.
Yeah.
And like it's okay afterwards, right? I don't know how that works.
Yeah. Like, what was that about? Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they were way too forgiving.
They like killed a woman doing laundry. I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a movie, but still, like I guess they just wanted to keep it transparent that these people are pretty shitty. Like there's some redeeming features of this story, but they're shitheads. Like they kill people a lot.
Yeah, I like Mousecatcher. She was like just the innocent person of the whole entire thing, and her dad was Taika Waititi. That was a great cameo.
Yes, that was it blew my mind.
I didn't even realize right away the first time they showed him. It really wasn't until they showed him like at the very end, and I was like, oh yeah, I knew Taika was supposed to be in this movie. Like it didn't click until like they were on top of the tower, like in his last appearance.
I agree.
But it was great. Yeah.
Yeah, on the window, I was like thinking, is that Taika Waititi? I was like, that looks like I know that guy, right? But I'm like, no, this is a DC film. Did that occur? Where you're all like, no, he's Marvel. He's Marvel, right? He wouldn't be in this movie.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's that's how you get the multiverse started, man. We got him, we got the rat. The rat's same rat from the Endgame. Freed the Avengers.
Jason, tell us. I need to know about the rat. You've been talking about the rat. Tell me about the rat. I need to know.
That's the multiverse theory, right? There's we got the multiverse happening to DC. We got the multiverse happening to Marvel now because of Kang. So now we got the rat that's in both.
And that's it.
DC is canon in the MCU, and MCU is canon in DC. And we're going to see a crossover film.
And there's a rat in both.
Speculate now. Red circle.
Yeah, and the rat is going to be the lead in the crossover film. The rat's going to be
Ratatouille cinematic universe.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Ratatouille's canon in this too. Ratcatcher 2 is gonna be the sequel.
Yeah, it's essentially Ratatouille, but instead of being a chef, he's a superhero. So it's kind of just like basically the same thing,
Yes, I love it. And I imagine a rat is like Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, but like Chef Kiss with the Infinity Gauntlet. Like,
I
that's a
just like
spicy
imagine
meat.
He does a chef kiss.
like I'm imagining Ratcatcher too getting her rat to just be on top of Guy Fieri's frosted tips, pulling them while he makes his trash can nachos. Like I would watch that.
Yes, yes. All right, guys,
Absolutely.
we're drawing up on an hour here. I think this has been a really good first episode. We've been all over the place about the Suicide Squad, but coming up next,
Yeah.
we have, when we started this, we were talking about, let's do two things here. Let's first talk about what we thought we were going to start the show on, which was the Spider-Man trailer, Far From Home trailer. Still hadn't dropped. Let's do a roundtable real quick. John, thoughts on Spider-Man trailer? When do you think it's coming? What do you think we're going to see?
It's coming out this week. We'll
Okay.
probably get it.
Okay.
We're going to get it before Saturday. We won't get it this weekend.
Okay.
We might get it Friday, honestly, because we're getting What If tomorrow. Thursday is going to be big reaction to What If. Friday, boom, Spider-Man trailer. Weekend, we can kind of just analyze it. I don't know.
Love that. Love
Maybe
that.
we'll get it at midnight. We'll get it at midnight.
Jason, thoughts? Spider-Man Far From Home trailer coming soon. What are you thinking?
I think it's definitely coming soon.
Oh.
It has to. And I mean, I'm not sure what we're going to see in the trailer. I mean, I try to stay away from trailers because I don't want to spoil things for myself. I like just going in with with no expectations, didn't see anything, and just going blind. But for something this big, like I'll probably have to watch the trailer. I think it's something I can't miss. And I think we're going to see maybe his new outfit that we've already seen toys and screenshots of with the Doctor Strange outfit with the blue symbol on it. I guess the Spider-Man has magic powers in this one. Who knows? I think it's a little too far-fetched and fantastical for me. I like seeing Spider-Man in New York City being a street-level character, but whatever. I'm game for whatever. So I think we'll maybe see something about that.
Lucas, Amanda Waller's gonna probably take us out soon. Anything you could say before we are destroyed by the Switch?
Yeah, I'm thinking tomorrow What If comes out and it's just like what if we just fucked with you all and there is no Spider-Verse and there is no trailer and Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were never even in talks to be in this third one. What if we did that?
No.
Unless
I will shut. Marvel presents Unless.
We got to get those memes ready. So I'm going to go ahead and let Amanda Waller destroy us. Injuries have been delivered. Oh, goddamn. My fucking head.
Yeah.
I guess my head just got blasted. But I want to say that, we have many episodes in the bank for y'all. If you've enjoyed tonight, this is really just a test episode, would y'all say?
Yeah.
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 Sure.
Absolutely.
Test run, just to see if we can make it work, and I think we did. We were a little behind the 8 ball on the schedule, but we are here. It looks good, sounds good, got a lot of things to talk about. So depending on what Marvel wants to do, we will be back for you guys with either What If, or probably What If, most likely, or if Spider-Man drops tonight before the show ends. We could come back with that one and talk about Spider-Man. But yeah, most likely we're going to do a What If show next. And this is great, man. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Thanks for putting this all together, man.
Yeah.
You're the MVP, bro. Thank you so much for everything.
Looking forward to next one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go heal this wound over here, Amanda Waller.
All right.
Inflicted to me. All right, y'all. Stay tuned. We'll be back. We got many more episodes. Jason, John, Lucas, Phil. We love all of y'all out there watching. Good night, y'all. Peace.
Thanks for watching.
Have a good night.